Okay, welcome back for part 2. Now, if you're just tuning in now and you haven't seen part 1, I recommend you go back and watch part 1 first. So this is part 2, and now we're on to a game called Art of Rally, which again is a top-down rally racing game. Now, this one of the things I really like about this one, I'll show you in career mode. You've got so these are all the different group classes of car you can race in, and you actually work through the years. So Group 2, you start in 1967 and go through to 1971. Group 3 goes from 1972 through to 76, and so on. And you can go right up to Group A, which is up to 1996. So there you go. In this game, you can race from 1967 through to 1996, which is rather good and rather fun. Okay, but we're going to go into custom rally for the sake of in the different countries you can race in. We'll do that: Finland, Sardinia, Japan, Norway, Germany, Kenya, Indonesia, and Australia. So that's 8 different countries. I think there's about 8 different stages in each country as well. So we'll say about the same number of countries and things as in the last rally game we looked at, give or take. And again, in this one here, you can choose the time of the day, so you can choose the weather, you can choose whether you want to race morning or night. You can choose the weather, you can choose day or night. So very, very similar to the other one in that respect. Is that the other one I want to race? No, I think I want to race there, except not from sunset, so we'll just change that to afternoon. Okay, so in that way it's the same as the other rally game that we just looked at, but as you're about to see, it looks quite different. So quite a cartoony look, and again, unlicensed, so the Ford Escort, and this one's called the Esky. And you got, in each class, as you can see, there's a whole bunch of cars in each class. That truck that we just saw at the end there, that's just one of the unlockables. There's some interesting unlockables in this game. Some of them are quite cartoon-like. But you can see quite a few different cars to choose from in each class. And we're going to race Finland in a Mark II Ford Escort again. So in theory, exactly the same as what we've just done. Now, I'll just start by saying that I actually spent about 20 minutes playing this between recording the last video and this video. The reason for spending 20 minutes offline doing rallying between the two is the handling is so completely different between these two games. You can't jump straight from one game to the other, so if you try that, you're going to be absolutely awful in whichever game you pick up second, just getting used to the different handling. Now, the interesting thing with this is that this one here has quite realistic handling, even though it's top-down racing. The last one was very arcade-like handling. This one is very, very realistic handling, which is going to be funny when you see the graphics in just a moment, because this is the one that you'd expect to not have the realism that the last one had, but this one's actually more realistic in terms of the physics of the car. You can damage the cars a lot more and things like that. Having said that, the graphics, as you can now see, a lot less realistic. So graphically, this is very unrealistic compared to the last one, but in terms of the way the cars handle, much more realistic. So we'll skip now to this first stage. Remember, same car, same country, so Finland. This one doesn't have anywhere near as many trees as Finland would have in real life. And you'll see this one, in the 80s and things, you used to get people all over the rally track on the best lookout spots and things, and it really would be like this. The people would be jumping out of the way at the last minute. So this one sort of has a very 80s feel to it in that respect. As you can see, the people are done as kind of like matchsticks basically. But this one, yeah, it's basically, in terms of graphics, it's an artist. It almost looks like an artist's rendition kind of thing. Or if I gave my kids some paints and said, here, paint me a scene to drive a car through, this is what you'd expect to see. Now, for those of you that have tuned in, probably quite a few of you have tuned in order to hear the second part of the story about the world's most expensive puppy dog. So, this week, while I was at work, I saw that the SPCA in Upper Hutt had this really cute puppy dog that they're looking to rehome, and the puppy dog itself is free, but they do ask for a donation towards because it's had all shots and everything. So realistically, you'd probably have to spend about $200 to get this puppy. That's what the kind of donation they'd be looking at, which didn't seem bad at all to me. This puppy was so cute. So I sent my wife a text. No, actually, no. So I sent an email because I was at work and she was at work, and I said, so I sent her an email with the picture of this puppy, and I said to her, "Are you sure, darling, that you feel our family is big enough already? You sure we don't have room for this little fella to join the family?" And my wife emailed me back and she said, "Well, the problem, darling, is that our backyard's not really fully fenced at the moment. But just follow this link." She sent me a link to a house that she had her eye on. She said, "If we buy this house, it does have a fully fenced yard, so we could have the puppy dog, and I absolutely will approve of you getting that puppy dog if we get this house." And the house that she sent me a link to was $1.1 million. Now, before any of you have a heart attack, this is New Zealand. And in New Zealand, housing is expensive. To try and put it into some kind of perspective for you, my wife and I own a reasonably modest 4-bedroom house. So it is 4-bedroom, but it's not a modern house. It's nice, but it's not flash or anything. And it's probably worth, I don't know, it's got $800,000 to $850,000 for a modest 4-bedroom house. In fact, in New Zealand, even if you were to buy a house that's semi-detached, so you share a wall with your next door neighbour, you'd be looking at a absolute minimum of $500,000. I don't think it'd be possible to buy any house in New Zealand for under $500,000 now. So yes, it sounds very expensive when I say this house that my wife likes the look of is $1.1 million, but it's not. I mean, it was that price because of the location. It wasn't an excessive house by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, I kind of decided that to spend $1.1 million buy a new house just so that my wife will let me get a puppy dog seemed rather excessive to me. As you can see, both these rally games offer replays at the end of each stage, and just jump into stage 2. So again, we're still in Finland. You can see how, now, I know that some people like to listen to YouTube videos rather than watch them per se, and if you're one of those people, then that's absolutely fine. But I do suggest that you look up at the screen, at least momentarily, just to see these graphics, because they are rather unique. But as I said, the looks are deceiving. This game here is actually probably harder than the last one we looked at, even though it looks like it should be more cartoon-like and more child-friendly. This one's actually harder because the handling is more realistic on this one. This one also has a lot more things to unlock, so if you're one of those people that like to try and clock a game and unlock every single bonus item and things, this one will take longer than the last one will. Neither of them are really big, huge games though, so both of them will get everything unlocked without too many problems, if that's what you're wanting to do. But this one, so it's called Art of Rally, and yeah, it's a whole different take on top-down rallying, I think, with the style of graphics. And when we finish the stage, which we're halfway through now, I will give my summary of the two, just in case any of my viewers are considering perhaps buying a top-down rally game after watching these two videos. I don't expect you probably are, because most of you are probably already fairly well set in your farming games and things, like I am, but just occasionally it's nice to do something that's not farming. And if you do want to do a bit of top-down arcade type rallying, then these are your best two options, these two games here, or at least your best two options for PC. There's another one that's quite good, which was for PlayStation 3, I think it was only, called WRC Power Slide, and that one was probably also it was very good. I had that back in the days when I had a PlayStation, but nowadays I only play on PC. But yeah, the last one, Rush Rally Origins, and this one, Art of Rally, are probably, for PC, your best two options for top-down rallying now. If you want to do a bit of top-down rally driving, these are the two games that would be the best, which is why I wanted to compare these two. As I said, they're both the same in so many ways. They're both ones where, let's get to review replay if I finish talking here. So they're both top-down rally games, things like that. But they're both so completely different, both in the handling and definitely in the graphics as well. So my overview overall is, if top-down rallying is something you want to try, instead of choosing between these two games, I'd say that since they're both unlicensed, it means they're both very, very cheap. Why don't you buy them both? Have twice as much rallying fun for still very little money. So that'd be my recommendation, is don't choose between the two. They're both great games. Buy them both and have twice as much rallying fun, if that's something you do want to try. But thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll let you all go now. Thanks. Bye.